Hi everyone! It's time to get started. Let's beach bum. So when you get your kit, it's going to look like this, only it won't say demo. I've got all of the metal parts separated into one bag. And this right here is your extra little piece of wire with the rose quartz briolet on it. You are not going to want to take that off because I made sure everyone fit on the wire that you're receiving. So I'm just going to separate everything right here just so that you can see what it's going to look like when you get it. And I like everything to be separated. I don't want to pull things out of separate little piles. So we've got our check glass, we've got our Miyuki beads. These are the opals. I've already strung them together for this one just to save a little time, but I will show you how to do that. We've got 2 more check glass pieces. Here's our focal, our crystals, our big glass piece, our wooden bead, and all of our little fire polished check glass pieces. Then we're gonna take out all of our head pins and our eye pins. For those who don't know what the difference between a head pin and an eye pin is, this is a head pin. It has a flat bottom. This is an eye pin. It has an eye. Clever name, huh? Alright, so you have 2 head pins and 26 eye pins. Here's our chain. Our 2 other pieces of chain. Our jump rings. Open jump rings. They get stuck on everything. There's our clasp, our 3 other pieces of chain for the focal, and there it is. Some handy tools. Some people don't like this because they don't think it's work. But as long as you already know how to make an eye pin, or you already know how to do a rosary chain, and you're just looking to save time, the looper tool is a jeweler's best friend. You will do with some flush cutters and a little nose, needle nose, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, a flat. And I also like these handy dandy Xeron tools. Very needle nose and a stubby nose. Alrighty, so first things first, we're gonna assemble our focal. So we're gonna take one of these head pins, straighten it out a little bit, and then we're gonna turn it to the side just a little, enough to get the chain on. If you can see that. You're going to want the longest piece of the copper chain in the middle. So we're going to take our 2 shortest pieces, maybe. Thread one on, thread the longest one on. Well, that just happened quickly. And then the last one. And you're going to turn it and close it the same way you opened it. Get it nice and flat. So we've got our pieces on here, and 2 of them are the same length, so we're going to cut the one a little bit shorter. Okay. I don't know if we can see that in the frame or not, but we've got the 3 lengths of chain. One long one, 2 side ones. Let's bead on that teardrop bead, and we are going to wire wrap the top of that. And I always like to do mine going in the opposite direction from the open eye. So I hold that eye. I'm gonna go about a 1/4 inch above the bead. Turn it 90 degrees towards me. Go over the plier and around to the back. So we have this pelican beak looking thing here. And I'm going to take it and hold it with my flat nose. And take my stubby little nose pliers here. Bring that loop all the way around and cross it so you have another eye. And I'm going to go and wrap the rest of the eye pin down to the bead. When I can't go anymore, take the flat nose off, and we're just going to clip that tail a little bit. Notice how I put my thumb on the cutter so that it wouldn't pop into my eyeballs, because we don't want to lose any eyes. And I'm just going to tuck the end of that wire in so it doesn't scrape and catch on things. So there you go. There is our finished focal piece. Alrighty, so now that we have our assembled focal piece, we're ready to start assembling the chain. We're going to take our flat nose, and you're going to need to open up this chain just a little bit. It's pretty soft, so you should be able to just open that up a little bit. And you're going to feed that focal onto one end and close it up. Make sure it's nice and flush. That's why I like to take my little flat nose, and this chain is just the right size, so it's nice and closed up. Okay, we have most of our fire polished check glass all loaded onto the eye pins. I'm just going to show you what I did there. I like to do them all at the same time just so you get everything assembled and you can just quick grab and work on the assembly line. So on this pin right here, I loaded one of the 5mm and the large hole bead, and then the other 5mm. Those are going to sit right inside that large hole when you close it. We're going to take one of the chocolate check glass rondelles, put that on the eye pin. That will be part of the chain. We also put the wooden bead on an eye pin. That will be in the chain. I have already put the opals on their eye pins, and I cut them and closed them up just to save time in the tutorial. I have loaded up our Miyuki beads. There should be 5 altogether, so we're going to put one more together. And now we're going to take the last head pins here. We're going to put one of the chocolate check glass pieces on there, and then the blue crystal, or turquoise or teal, whatever you want to call it. Your other head pin, we're going to put the green diamond shaped crystal on it. So we have all of our stuff together now, and we're ready to start assembling. The first thing that goes right next to the focal and onto the same link in your chain is going to be the single check glass chocolate colored one. And I will show you the proper way to do it first, and then to save time we'll do the looper tool. So with this one, I always do my eyes going in opposite directions. I'm going to turn that just a little bit. I'm going to take my round nose tool. I'm going to go around that tool to the back, open the tool and rotate it just a little bit, and bring the rest of that right through to the other side. So you have another eye. Then you need to take your flush cutter here, and you are going to nip that circle right up next to the straight part of the eye pin. Always hold on to your piece you're cutting off so it doesn't fly up and hit you in the face. And then you'll see that this eye is open slightly, so just take your flat nose and close it up. So that's how you do just a single closed loop without cheating. While we have that open though, we're going to stick that onto the link next to the focal. So just open that up a little bit, slip it onto that focal. We're going to need to open it a little bit more. And then close it up. Okay, there you go. Then we're going to take our clasp. There's another little jump ring that's on it. Just go ahead and take that off and put the clasp at the opposite end of your chain that you're working on. And I'm going to close it up just a little so it doesn't keep coming off while we're working on the rest of the piece. Okay, so to save time, we're using the looper tool now. We're going to close our head pins. So if you've never used the looper tool, there's a little hole at the one side, and then there's a little notch right here that you're going to feed through. And I always bring the top of the bead to that jaw right there, and you'll see that the end pin of the pin is coming through. So when we close it, then it's going to do the cutting and the bending all at the same time. And then you just give it a little twist and pull it off the tool. There you go. See? Much faster when you're doing a lot of these. So that is actually going to go on your chain. On whatever link you want, actually. But where did I put it? I put it somewhere up here, like around the 6th loop. So let's do that. The great thing about this piece is you can kind of go willy-nilly. It's for the asymmetrical lever, so nothing is measured and there's no rules. Except make sure you get it on the chain. And then you're going to close it up. Make sure it can't snag on anything. There you have that. We're going to do the same thing with the other head pin and crystal through our looper tool. Close her up. And I'm going to put that. I think I'm going to actually change things up and I'm going to put it lower. Like I said, you can follow the master and go where it is in the photo, or you can put it wherever you want. Next thing we're going to do is close up all of these little guys because they're going to go right after this chocolate piece here. I'm hungry, so we're going to refer to things as food. I'm just going to rock and roll and get all of these done, making sure that those eyes are going in opposite directions. If you get tired of working on one color, go ahead and switch to the other ones, because you have to do them all the same. You'll actually have quite enough left of those head pins or eye pins that you cut off that you could make another eye pin out of them. Waste not, want not in the jewelry business, right? Don't worry if some of your pins are a lighter color than the other ones. Some are tarnished more. They'll all look the same eventually. I think it all adds to the charm as well. So we are also going to do this with the wooden pin, making sure that the end of the bead rests on the left jaw of the tool. We're going to do it with our large hole bead. Again, if you don't have a looper tool, it's okay. We learn how to do it the right way. And I'll show you how to do that one more time on the last check glass piece. Okay, so here's our last one. I'm going to take my round nose tool, put it at the top of the bead, go forward a little bit, go around my needle nose, bring that loop all the way around. You see how it crosses? We're going to cut that right where it meets the straight part of the pin. And we're going to close her up. Okay. This will be the most difficult part of your wire wrapping, although I don't think it's all that hard. Wrapping a briolet is pretty easy, and this is a bohemian piece, so it does not have to be perfect, and it actually, in my opinion, looks much better when you go a little more organic with the wrap anyway. So what we're going to do is put a little bend in the middle of the wire. Bring that briolet up against it and just follow the point of the briolet up. Make another little bend at the top of the point. This is 24 gauge wire. It's easier to work with. Then you're going to bring the other side over. You're going to follow that point in the briolet again, and you're going to cross what you already wrapped. Grab that with a needle nose tool. Now we're going to wrap this up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, I like it organic. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Tuck your little end in if it's still sticking out. And now we're gonna make a loop at the top of it. So with your tool, go forward a little bit towards you. Wrap it around your tool. Bring it all the way around. You're gonna open up your tool and rotate it just a little bit so you can bring that all the way around, and it's crossing the flat part of the pin. Use the flat nose tool to hold that loop. You're going to hold it straight across in the plier. And now we're going to wrap down. So 1, 2, however many you want to do until you're happy with it or out of wire. So I've reached the bottom. I'm going to go back up because I don't like wasting the wire. And I'm just going to leave some bigger spaces. So we have some bigger loops. I'm out of wire now, so I'm going to wrap that around the rest of the pin underneath the eye. Tuck in my little piece so it doesn't catch on anything. And there you go. You have your wrapped briolet. Very organic, does not have to be perfect. Boho is not perfect. So that I actually have in the second link from the focal. So I'm going to open up the second link of our chain, and I'm going to put that in there. Use your flat nose tool. You don't have to open it very much because it's such a tiny little piece we're feeding through. Close her back up. Make sure it's flush so that that little briolet does not come out. And there you have that. Let's get all these scraps out of the way so we don't have to look at those anymore. All right, let's have some fun and make this chain. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the 4 check clasp 5mm beads. We're going to open up each loop and hook it onto the loop of the next one. So starting with that chocolate bead, and then close it back up. Got my hair in the frame. So feed the next one through, close it up. You're going to do it with all 4 of those check beads. And the last one, we're going to put that wooden bead on. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We are going to use the jump ring. The jump ring is going to give that a little buffer while you wear it. It's going to help it wear better so it doesn't twist. That's also why we do the eyes in different directions on the head pins. So if you've never closed a jump ring before, you're going to hold one side in your tool. You're going to take the whatever other tool you're using. You can use the flat nose or another needle nose, and you're going to rock that closed. Why do you rock it? Because it's going to temper the wire a little bit, make it harder. If your ends don't meet flush, you can make them. Just make small movements so you don't overstress that jump ring. There you go. Should have just left the jump ring open and then fed the wooden bead through the jump ring, but that's okay. We can open up the jump ring, or we can open up the eye pin. And you're going to close that up. The eye pin will turn, so make sure you hold one end. There you go. And after that wooden bead, then we're going to use another jump ring to attach the opals. So go through your wooden bead eye pin. Kind of wiggle as you twist that closed. Make sure the ends meet and are nice and flush. And then we're going to put on our first 4-link of the copper chain. We're going to use another jump ring to do that. I'm going to need to open it up just a little bit more. Always open it to the side, never open like a Pac-Man mouth. Feed one onto the opal. And then one onto the copper chain. Close up your jump ring. And then we're going to start the fire polished check glass ones. So another jump ring. And one of the fire polished. Close up your jump ring. And then just open up the eyes and keep adding those on. You've got 10 of those. last one. And there you have that. It's a nice little easy rosary chain. Goes a lot faster than wire wrapping them all. But you can always do that in the future too. You can do a rosary chain where you wire wrap around the pin. Adds a different flair to it. Okay, now we're going to add another jump ring. Add another copper piece, the other copper chain. And now we're going to do the 5 Mayuki seed beads. Open up each end just like you did the other ones. Put them all on as a chain link. If you want to use the extra 2 that are included in the kit, go right ahead. It all depends on how long or how short you want it. Okay, so we have those all joined. Now we're going to take another jump ring, hook it onto the copper chain, hook that onto our Mayuki chain, close that jump ring up, now we're going to add our large hole bead. I'm going to use a jump ring to connect those just to give it some more strength. So when you wear it, it twists differently and just puts the brunt on the jump ring, not on the eye pins. Close that jump ring up. And then another jump ring to put it onto our hook. If it would hold still for me. And close that jump ring up. There we go. We are all done. Like I said, you can rearrange the dangles the way you want, where you want them on the chain. If you have any extra beads at home, you can add those on as well. And where does it open and close? How do you open it to put it on? You're going to do it right here on the clasp on the side instead of behind your neck. There you have it. We're going to do one last little adjustment though, and right here where we connected the chocolate check glass bead, we're going to put a jump ring on, and we're going to put that eye pin through the jump ring instead of putting the pressure on the eye pin. If we can control our pieces. And now, there you have our beach bum. This is a really fun piece, and it just reminds me of collecting a bunch of things on the beach and sticking them all together. You got wood that comes up. You've got sea glass that comes up. So just a fun little beach bum piece. Enjoy!